Hi, I'm Mao Kang Ming, blind Octopus Brown. Yeah, I'm the executive chef of Singapore Red Cross Home for the Disabled. I'm the one that runs the F&B operations in Red Cross Home for the Disabled, which I run the kitchen. I have a team of 6, and we cook for all the residents of 120 plus staff, total 180.
Hi, I'm Valerie, and I'm a volunteer tutor at the Young Hearts program at Nee Soon. So I started volunteering around 2 years ago, and what I do is I mostly play with the kids that come down for the program, and then before they play, we would try to make sure that they do a little bit of homework, but mostly I'm there to play and spend time with the children.
My name is Abigail and I am a pharmacy technician. I started volunteering around late 16.
Hi, I'm Benjamin William. I've been with Singapore Red Cross for the last 10 years or so. I'm the Secretary General and the Chief Executive Officer. We in Singapore Red Cross, we reach out to the most vulnerable both in Singapore as well as in the region. And the most vulnerable in each society differs. In Singapore Red Cross, we have decided to focus on the elderly because Singapore's aging population is growing, and we focus on the disabled. As we reach out to the elderly, we also realize that there are many families that are challenged, and we have been reaching out to youth at risk, wanting to help them to break the poverty cycle. We will continue to reach out to the vulnerable in Singapore, as well as in communities devastated by disasters.
I think I was just looking for volunteer opportunities around, because try as much as possible to help where I can with what I had, right? And specifically why Nee Soon, I think I just felt like once I went down for the first run, I connected with the kids there, and they seemed just really a fun bunch to be around, and I thought I would enjoy myself if I volunteered there more, so I continued going back.
I enjoy helping people, and even my job is in healthcare, so I felt like it was interesting to expand towards the first aid area into the community, because I've always wanted to do that, but like school and the early years of work kept me quite busy, and around 2016 I was like, yeah, I have time, so I took up first aid lessons.
Being a humanitarian means to me is like they have to show concerns, welfare, and helping others, improve their welfare, their life. I mean, you must have the passion to do this, to help others, and then you understand how they feel and make them feel better.
I think being a humanitarian is being humane, realizing that I kind of won the birth lottery to some extent by being fortunate enough to have more than others. I think being a humanitarian means being able to share that notion and also share your time and resources to help everybody have access to the same things that you have access.
It means that I get to help people when they are injured. It means that I get to be there for them when they need somebody, and it's an incredible feeling to be able to help someone.
For me, being a humanitarian means caring for the community. Over the last 10 years, I've seen that even in an affluent society like Singapore, there are those who fall between the gap, and we must come forward to be able to extend a helping hand to them. Whether it is elderly living alone, whether you're disabled and unable to get around on your own, or you are youth at risk, hoping that life hands you a chance to break out of the poverty cycle. It is very satisfying to see how your effort has made a difference in the life of these people. I've also had this opportunity to work in communities overseas, especially communities that are devastated by natural disasters. Often, even the very little they have has been wiped away. For us to be able to come on board to extend a helping hand is a very satisfying thing, and makes me grateful that I am a humanitarian worker. But as a humanitarian worker, I realize that an important part of it is the support you get from the community, whether as volunteers or supporters or donors. The humanitarian journey is not just the journey of the humanitarian worker, but also of those who support the humanitarian journey.
The most memorable thing about volunteering is to remind yourself that everybody comes from different walks of life. But at the same time, even despite that, we're all still so similar. It's the interaction to remind yourself that we're all the same as humans.
One of my most memorable ones was actually during one of my shifts for First Aider on Wheels, and I think I was assigned as the team leader, so I got there early. I opened up and I set up everything, but the volunteers were not there yet. And then there were this group of boys who were cycling, and one of them fell. And then they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to disturb you. I know you guys are not open yet, but can you help us?" I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, I'll help." It was a very minor thing. It was something that's very simple. It's just like a minor abrasion. I cleaned it up. I bandaged it for him. And then I shut the doors and I was waiting for my volunteers to come, right? Then I had a knock on the door and the boys went to buy Slurpee. So yeah, that was one of my favorite memories.
I think firstly will be being open-minded, because he or she will see things that is not happening in their daily life. They get the experience and being exposed to it. Secondly, I think it's communication skill, because some people might have a language barrier or they might not understand what are we doing. And lastly is you need to be well prepared in case when things don't go to your way. Of course, you need to adapt and improvise when things don't get along. Everyone can become a humanitarian as long as they have the passion in helping people. You can go to the home, talk to the residents, play with the residents.
Get yourself equipped with standard first aid. I think the next thing is really getting yourself out there to practice, to give yourself the chance and the exposure. Because a lot of times, right, these volunteers who really have the best intentions to want to be a humanitarian, but then they get scared when the real thing happens. What happens if somebody collapses from cardiac arrest and I don't dare to perform CPR? What happens if I don't know what to do and I don't know which bandage to use? Yeah, usually in those situations, you don't think twice. You just do it. So long as you're able to arrest the bleeding or anything, it's good enough.
Being a humanitarian, no matter what race or religion you are, we are there to help to improve the welfare of others.
I think it's about sharing what you have and doing what you can. There are many ways that you can, give back and share the fortunes that you have, right? You can donate, you can volunteer your time, and even the small daily acts of kindness, whenever you're trying to be a nicer human being, even when you're about to lose your temper. Just remember that another person might also be having a hard day, and you just want to treat everybody with the kind of dignity you want to be treated with.
Don't give up, even though it seems very daunting at first, or that it's really hard to understand how to and what to do, especially those without medical knowledge, can be quite intimidating. Really just try and give yourself the chance to experience it.
I would say that the first thing about being a humanitarian is your heart. We must have a big heart because we need to care for those who are less fortunate than us, those who do not have what it needs to get by on a day-to-day basis. So the first quality of a humanitarian must be to have a big heart. And once you have a big heart, the rest can be learned along the way.
Well, I'd like to thank them for their time and talent, and be safe out there.
Very thankful for a lot of people who spend the extra time and go the extra mile to create programs and create opportunities to volunteer.
I would like to thank them for taking their time for doing this. It's really into personal time when they come out and volunteer as a humanitarian, be it Singapore or overseas. And I'm really, really grateful for all the work that they do, especially when there are natural disasters. It's really amazing that there are people like that who step out. So thank you very much.
So to all of you who are humanitarian workers, who are volunteers, who are supporters, who are donors, I want to say a big thank you to all of you. And I wish all of you a very happy, fruitful and satisfying World Humanitarian Day. Your contribution makes a difference in the life of those we care for. Thank you.